I'm Lance Earl. I'm going to take a few minutes and show you how we operate the DallyPost Tactical Target System using our remote control device, which allows us to literally control the target from anywhere on the range. Our control is activated through a simple key fob type transmitter. It has an up and down button, a left and right button, and a center button. We also call this the accept button. When you first power up the system, it's going to ask you to enter a 13-digit access code, which will allow you to start the target and use it. Now, there are actually 100,000 access codes. The first one is an access code that the target purchaser will receive, and this access code will always work and allow for unlimited target use. There are an additional 99,999 access codes which the target owner can sell to other users. These might be law enforcement trainers, firearms trainers, people that put on tactical shooting matches, etc. These other 99,999 codes only allow the target to be used for a specific amount of time. And once that time is used up, then the code will no longer work. This allows you to have actually a vending type system built into your target. So not only is it the greatest target for you to use, but it becomes a source of income that will help to pay for the target system over and over and over again over a period of time. And when you first log in, you'll be asked to enter this code. We change the number simply by pressing the up and down buttons. I'm pressing the down button, and so it takes my numbers down. I can press the up button to raise my numbers. So it's 8, up button, 2, up button, accept, that's 3, up button, accept, that's 2, down button, accept, up button, accept, we'll accept again because that number is 0, up, accept, up, accept, down, accept, down, accept, up, accept, and up. Accept again, and we're logged into the system. Now, as soon as you successfully log into the system, the target will start to move. There are obviously limits as to how far the target can move left and right. And so the target will move slowly until it finds a physical stop, at which time it's going to ask you a question. Is this the stop where you want to tape up targets and score targets? In other words, is this your home position or is this an end position? You can decide. So we'll just assume that this is the home position, so I press accept, and it moves on. Now it's going to locate span. Span is actually the number of pulley rotations from one extreme of travel to the other extreme. And so it's moving slowly across. You can see it's now rotated 90 some odd times, 100 times. When it hits the other stop, of course it will force the target to stop moving, and it records that span. Now, one of the beautiful things about this means that our target system literally can fit into any span. It can be 30 feet, it can be 100 feet, it can be 150 feet, and the target will adjust itself accordingly. Now the target has moved to the center position, and now the last thing we're going to do is make sure that our left and right buttons are configured correctly. So with the target in the center position, it asks us to press the left button, which I do, and I watch it move. Then it's going to ask me, move direction was left or right, and I will simply tell the target which direction the target moved. In this case, I'll say left. Configuration is complete. So here we have a target system that just this quick can be set up and will configure itself to any span that you might have, and now it will run safely within those limits without collisions and other violent, random, crazy stuff. Okay, so I can press the accept button, and now I'm in the main menu. We have a number of different things available here in the main menu. We have firearms challenges. Now, a challenge is a series of 30 moves that will be put together in a variety of different ways, and we have a large number of challenges. We have cow horse challenges. This target system initially started life as a trainer for cutting horses, and it still has all that functionality built in. We have remote run. We have continuous play. Continuous play just simply causes the target to run one challenge and then repeat again and again and again and again. And that is by default is turned off. System stats, this will just give you some information about the system if you click on it. And auto logout. Auto logout is simply this. The target system, if it goes 5 minutes without a button press, it will log you out, which means that you have to start over, log back in, and reconfigure the system. So by default, auto logout is turned on, but we can press accept here. Press the up or down button to change it. Now I've set auto logout off. I press accept again to set that, and now auto logout is turned off. This means that the target system will never log out. Now there's an advantage to that. One of the advantages is that as a firearms trainer, if you're going to have situations where you have to stop and talk to your students for a time, you don't want the system logging out. The disadvantage is if you're on a public range or something like this where you are using one of the 99,999 codes that give you only a certain amount of usage, if you walk away and forget to log out, the next shooter can come in and continue using your time on the machine and use it up. So, okay, anyway, that's auto logout. I'm going to start with our remote run. I'm going to start with this because it is absolutely the most basic. And when you go into remote, the target will start to move toward the home position, and when it gets there, it will stop. Then it will move to the start position. As you can see, it says the position is 9. That means 9% of span. Now, all moves are based on a percentage of span. Our target system from this point on, because it's been configured, will work within the center 80%, and by avoiding going into that extreme left or right 10%, we can avoid collisions. And of course, we don't want collisions. It shakes our target frames, our targets fall off the frames, it breaks equipment, so we don't want collisions. You can also see that speed is set to 3. Now I can change that by pressing the up button or the down button. Now I'm at 5, 4, 3, 2. And I can move the target left or right by pressing the left or right button. So here's a right hand move at speed 2. Now I can stop it. Click the up button a few times and get some speed on this thing. And off it goes. Now, one other thing that I want to point out real quickly is, as I said, I'm still holding the left button down, but the target is stopped. And why? Because we have broken that left-hand 10%. And it's going to stop right there and not allow me to have a collision. So I can change my speeds and make my moves and do whatever I want. I can move it left, come out of cover, stop it, duck back into cover, play all kinds of head games with my shooter. Now this remote run is actually 30 moves. You can see I'm on move 10 of 30. Now I'm on move 11 of 30. If I record a full set of 30 moves, then I can go back into the system at any time and I can rerun this challenge. So one of the nice things about this is if I want the target to do the exact same thing for every shooter, I can make my moves. I can have the target slip into cover and come back out and move around and mess with the shooter. And if I record all 30 moves, or excuse me, if I make all 30 moves, they will be recorded and I can go back in and replay these at any time. Now the only time you have to come back to the target is when you want to change and go into a different run mode. And you just come back here and press the menu button. Now I'm in the main menu again. So now I want to show you some of our firearms challenges. we have a number of challenges, and I don't have time to show you all of them in this demo, but we have basic 1 and basic 2, and these are just what they sound like. These are challenges that where the target just makes slow, predictable movements. The shooter knows where the target's going to go, the shooter knows where the target's going to stop, and this is the challenge that we use to work on fundamentals of grip and sight alignment, that sort of thing. I move through the challenges simply by pressing the up button. So my next challenge is dynamic 1 and dynamic 2. We have these. These are the first challenges where the target will make random movements. This means that the shooter doesn't know what direction the target's going to go. The shooter doesn't know how far the target's going to go. And the shooter doesn't know how fast the target's going to go. Nor does the shooter have any idea of how long the target will pause between moves. With dynamic challenge 1, the shooter moves with the target. When the target stops, the shooter takes a good stance, builds a good grip, sight alignment trigger, and takes 2 shots, and then waits for the next move. With dynamic 2, it gets a little more demanding. The shooter is now moving with the target, and now the only time the shooter can shoot without being penalized is when the shooter is in motion, when the target is in motion. If the shooter takes a shot while either he or the target is static, there will be a penalty. After this, we have our defensive challenges, and you can see that there are 6 different defensive challenges, followed by 6 tactical challenges. And finally, a custom challenge, which I will show you in a moment. So we'll start here with defensive 2. All we have to do is select it, press accept, and the target begins to move to home. When it finds that physical stop or limitation of movement, it will stop and move to its start position. Now, most of our challenges from this point forward start in the center position, and so from the very beginning, the shooter has no idea what direction the target will go. Now, we can start this challenge by pressing the accept button, or on the back of this target system, we have a terminal block, and we can hook just some standard speaker wire to this and go out to any momentary switch, and it can be started with a momentary switch. And we use those for a number of reasons. I won't go into that now, but we just know that there are 2 ways to start and stop a challenge, either with the remote or with a switch that you have located somewhere on the range. So I'll go ahead and press the accept button to start this challenge. It's moving. It's now at position 14. It's now moving back to the right. It is at position 52. Now it's moving slow at speed 3. It's moving back to the left. It's at position 20. Now with every challenge, the pre-move pause time, there is a range of possibilities, and it will randomly select that. The pre-move, or excuse me, not the pre-move, the move direction is randomly selected, left or right. The move distance is randomly selected from a range of values. And finally, the move speed is randomly selected. Now here's a neat feature. On occasion, we have a shooter that does something that needs our immediate attention. And so we can actually stop the progression of the program by pressing the down button. Down is for slow down. We stop it, and now we have moved into step mode. By step mode, I mean that the target's not going to do anything until I tell it to take the next step. And so I have now an opportunity to go and discuss things with my shooter, point out something that he needs to correct or something that he must correct because it's dangerous. And then I can give the target back to the program by pressing the down button again. Or I'm going to go back into step mode by pressing the down button again. If I don't want to give the target back to the program right away, I can press the left button and the target will make the next move. Now in this case, I am determining the direction it's going to go, but the program will still select the speed and the move distance. However, if I do want to control where the target stops, I can press the right button. As you can see, we're at position 26. I can press the right button, and then I can press it again to stop the target. I can press the right button again and stop it, or I can just press the right button, let the target do its thing, and it will stop where it wants. And again, at any time, I can press the down button one more time and give the target back to the system. Now finally, if we've accomplished everything we want to do with this challenge and want to perhaps move on to another shooter or select another challenge, I can press the up button for time is up, and the target will immediately stop. It will shimmy. By shimmy, I mean it makes a left, right move of about 1 foot, and then it moves to the home position where it will stop and wait for further instructions. Now you can see that at this point we have our time set up. This challenge as we ran it was 202.86 seconds. And we have a couple of options here. We can press the accept button and press the accept button one more time to make sure that we've got that. The target will move back to the home position. Or excuse me, not the home position, but the start position. And we can start again by pressing the accept button. Now I've just ended it by pressing the up button. The target moves home. Now if I want to change to a different challenge, I have to come back and press the menu button. And I want to show you just briefly, whoops, I went too far. I want to show you just briefly the custom run. Now when we go into custom, we set the minimum and maximum pause. So I can use my up and down button to set that. So minimum pause will be 1 second or 8 seconds, whatever I want. So let's set the minimum pause to 1 second. Accept that. Set the maximum pause to 2 seconds. Now this is going to be a difficult challenge because the target won't stay still long. It will stay still 1 second or 2 seconds. Or I could go to 3 or 5 seconds. Now the time will be somewhere between 1 and 4 seconds. I will accept that. Now we set our speeds. Minimum speed is 1, which is equivalent to a very slow human stroll. I can kick that up to whatever I want. Accept that. Now I can set the maximum speed. Accept that. By the way, the maximum speed is 9, and speed 9 is probably faster than you can run. Now I'm going to set my distances. Our distance can be anywhere from 10% of span to 80% of span. So again, I can modify that, accept it, modify this, accept it. So now it's just going to be somewhere between 60 and 70% of span. Set the number of moves, I'll leave that at 30. Challenge repetitions. Challenge repetitions is something that we use in our tactical, and in essence what it does is it combines 3 challenges back to back, and the shooter will shoot 1 challenge at a close line of barricades using both pistol and carbine. Then he will move back, recharge his weapons, and shoot a second challenge at a greater distance, and finally move back to the third one. And so we can have challenge repetitions 1, 2, or 3. I'll leave that at 1. Modifiers, we can set that to auto, which means everything is completely random. We don't know what it's going to do. We can set it to static, which means that the target will continue to move in one direction until it identifies that the next move will cause a collision, and then it will reverse that direction. So in other words, it will make a right-hand move, a right-hand move, a right-hand move, a right-hand move, realize that the next one was going to cause problems. Now it goes left, 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 till it can't do that any longer and switches back to right. We can set it to zigzag. A zigzag is just what it sounds like. The target will move out and back and out and back and out and back. Or we can drop into step mode, which I just showed you. That's where we actually control it. I will leave it in auto. and now the custom challenge is moving to the home position, preparing to set up. It's set up. I press accept to start it, or press the momentary switch if we have one of those out there and have it wired to the back of the box. Now you can see that we have very short pause times and high speeds. This is a demanding challenge. And again, finally, when I'm done doing whatever I want to do, I press the up button, the target shimmies, resets to the home position, and it's ready to do whatever we want it to do next. In a nutshell, that's it. The beauty of this system is that unlike our competitors, one man can run the whole thing. He can be the instructor on the range. He can be the man who controls the target. You don't need a dedicated target operator as you do in most other systems. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope that you can see that when it comes to intelligence, when it comes to agility and ability, when it comes to controllability, nothing compares with the DallyPost Tactical Target.